Hi, welcome to this video. It's for Leetcode 704 binary search. This is a question that I guess would fall under a utility question because it doesn't take a lot of lines of code. It is something that is a specific technique, and obviously the technique is just called, binary search. It's one of the first searches they teach you in computer science. It's basically when you open up a telephone book and you're looking for a specific last name or something like that. And you decide, okay, I open the book to S, but the last name I'm looking is L. So I'm going to continue looking on the left side of the phone book. And you continue on like that until you finally find it. This is actually one question I have been asked personally doing a phone screen and did not get it right. So I figured there's something that we can look at. The code you see is maybe not even 20 lines if I take out my comments. But let's take a look at what we got. So basically, you have a number line, right? And it's asking you, well, we want to find the target of 7, which is right here. So how do we do that? Well, like we said earlier with the phone book, you flip open your phone book, see where you land, see where the target is, and you decide if you go on the left half of the phone book or the right half of the phone book. For these kind of questions, they will give you the numbers in sorted order, right? Because otherwise, binary search doesn't really work. So what happens next? What happens next is that, well, you need to figure out what the left side is, in this case 1. You need to figure out what the right side is, in this case 10. And then, because it's sorted, you care about the middle. The middle, how do you calculate the middle? The middle is always going to be basically left plus right, and half that divided by 2, okay? Now I say basically because you're using programming languages that have a limit on the types. So if you have a typed integer, it's like 2 to the some power, right? I don't know the number off the top of my head, but that limits you to a certain number. Let's say that number is like whatever, 32,000 or something like that, 33,000. And that's your right. But then your left is like 31,000. And if you add these two together, you get an overflow, all right? So the actual way to calculate middle very safely is basically going to be left plus right minus left. That part is divided by 2. It's basically a check to make sure you don't overflow. You can find resources online to do that, to kind of spell it out for you. But essentially, it's an addition of L plus R divided by 2. Okay, that's essentially what it is. So what do you do in the next step? Well, next step, we'll go for first. First, you find 5, right? In the middle. 5 is less than 7. 5 is less than 7. So you shift this left variable over. We'll call it east. You're going east. Okay? So next, because left came over east, previously we knew that we had a miss on 5. So you do not need 5 again. So you start one item east to where you had a miss. So right now we use 6, right? And right does not move. Middle becomes 8. And again, right? 8 is greater than 7. So because you don't find it, you're going to look in this portion, right? This portion. So then you look in that portion and you get L and R basically right next to each other. Now, for me, I had used math.floor, which rounds the middle down towards 6, right? And then you wouldn't find it. But if you use math.round, you actually find it more quickly in this case. It doesn't really matter which one you choose, you're still going to find the answer. Okay, right. Middle will be 6 because of math.floor. And then at the next step after that, left, right, and middle all end up at 7, and that's how you find the answer. Okay, so let's take a look at the code. Here's the code. As we say, it's not very long. Once again, this is JavaScript code, and I always suggest that you add comments everywhere when you're coding, if you can, during these like live code shares, so you know what you're doing, right? So here, talk about you're looking for the index, right? If you need to remind yourself, do I add or subtract? Because that's how I messed up when I did it. You can think, just do an example. So if L is 0, R is 10, the middle is 5, right? How do you get 5? Well, L plus R divided by 2 equals 5 here. Now, what if L is 10, R is 20, middle has to be 15. In this top example, right, if you had done 10 minus 0 divided by 2, you still get 5. But in the bottom example, if you did 20 minus 10 divided by 2, you get 5. That doesn't work. So you know, scratch that, is 20 plus 10 divided by 2, which gives you 15. 15 here, 15 here. You can draw this out, when you're doing the interview, and I think it's fine. You can just clarify what you want to talk about. So let's go through this code really fast. First, you have to set your left, set your right, then you begin binary search. Now we mentioned that because it's JavaScript and you're doing division, if you take, 13 divided by 2, you're going to get 6.5, right? That's not what you want. You want to round it or floor it. And this is the part we talked about earlier where you're preventing overflow, right? Then you find the potential match, which is in the middle. If you find it, you return. If not, you shift left or right. This is where I think it's really important, where you don't use start and end, because these are bad ideas. Because where is start? Is start on the left side or is start on the right side? You get confused faster than you think. So I wouldn't do it. Now, let's do a super fast example with a walkthrough. Number line of just 5 numbers, target of 4. Okay, let's look at our variables, left, right, middle. What do we start with? Well, we start with 1 on the left, 5, right? 1 on the left, 5 on the right. You also see them here. The middle is 3. Well, it's 3 is less than 4, so we shift. Let's take a look. Where's that shift happening at? Well, we see that target is greater than middle, so we're going to move left. Middle plus 1, okay? And then, at that point, because previously middle was here at 3, right? And we had a miss. So you move left over here. Left was previously here. You moved it over. So now, the middle technically is here, right? So left is 4, right is 5. Middle should be 4.5, but we're flooring it. So we get 4, and we match, and we return. And that's it. That's all there is to binary search. We're going to tackle harder problems with binary search after this video. I think you just need a toy example to look through in the beginning to kind of really understand the concept, and then it makes more sense to go through a more difficult problem. So it makes us focus our minds to really think about what it means to use it. So that's it for Leetcode 704 binary search. Thank you for watching.